Today we're going to be making a canopic jar. This is a jar that has a sculpted head on the lid. I'm going to start with about 2.5 to 3 pounds of clay. With that clay, I'm going to throw a 6 to 7 inch jar on the wheel. Canopic jars generally have rounded shoulders that are wider than the base, so I'm going to use my tools and ribs to widen the shoulders and round them so that the opening is smaller than the width of the shoulders, and then taper the whole form so that it's narrower at the base than it is at the top. Don't forget to pre-trim with a wooden knife. I'm going to let the jar get leather hard while I start working on the lid. I'm going to use calipers to measure the width of the opening, so I can make a lid that will be slightly larger than the opening. I don't want it to fit exactly. Next, I will add a foot ring onto the base of the lid so that it won't wobble off. When it comes time to start sculpting the head, you can make an animal or you can make a human head. In this example, I thought it would be fun to make a zebra/unicorn head for my jar. The important thing to remember is to have photos, toys, or models to look at when you're sculpting. You want to make sure that you get the proportions and the details right. Do not try to rely on your memory to do the sculpting. If the clay is nice and fresh and soft, you can just stitch the additional pieces onto the form as you sculpt. Remember, it must be hollow, and no part should be thicker than your thumb. Rough out the general shapes first, then go back and start making the details. Don't spend a lot of time making the details first. You're going to waste time doing that. Make it all rough, and then go back. When you add details like eyes or ears, make sure that they line up on both sides of the head so that nothing will look lopsided. And there we have our finished Canopic jar.